Hey challengers, welcome to week 1, day 7. I decided to do a special video because I was going through some stuff and I thought if I'm going through it, maybe some of you are too. Have you ever had a client who was doing well on the program and back in the day and then they said, oh God, this time it's not as easy, this time it's not working, I'm doing everything right, but it's not working? I just did that to myself. So I want to share with you what was happening here. And the topic today is going to be awareness. It's really going to be about mindfulness and paying attention and being aware and tracking. And we're going to finish off with talking about how to win the prizes. So Edward Deming, who's one of my mentors, so Marshall Thurber studied with Deming for 10 years. He's famous for revolutionizing Japan. He said, you can't manage what you don't measure. And so sometimes we get into a comfort zone. And I talked about this at the beginning of the challenge. When I originally set my goal, I was going to be building muscle. I was going to be working on, toning. I'm working 3 and 3. I was doing double workouts last week, the first couple weeks. I was eating lots of protein and I could pretty much eat a little more calories and I wasn't too worried about it. Then what happened is I took action and I worked out a little too hard and it hurt my shoulder. And I had to take 3 days off. But guess what? Just like those athletes in high school when they're lifting weights, they're playing college ball and everything, and then they get into a routine of eating, I didn't realize, I wasn't paying attention, that my portion sizes were too big and I was eating more than my workout because I had to cut my workout down because of my injury. So I want to talk about this cycle. It's very important, the success cycle. Mastery is not just 10,000 hours. It's deliberate, conscious practice, deliberate, conscious action. And so I took action. And then I got a result. But then I just went back to taking action. And then I got another result. And I went back to taking action. And I got another result. And I really wasn't paying attention to these other two important elements. So that means you got to evaluate. You got to evaluate, ask what went well, what did I learn, and what's the next step? And then you go to that next step, which is adjust. And I needed to adjust my caloric intake to go down to a 5 and 1 or a 4 and 2 because I'm not working out like I was the first couple weeks. The other adjustment I need to make is I'm going to go in, I'm getting some advanced stem cell treatment next week. So for the next week, I'm going to not be working out as much. I'm going to be more focused on healing and stretching versus building and strengthening. So really, I just want to put this out there, make adjustments, pay attention, what's working, what's not working, what do you need to adjust, do it with your coach, do it with your buddy on your weekly buddy check-in. One more thing I want to talk about, because I did mention portion size, it's about being mindful. It's about being conscious. And so there is a guideline that I like to use. This is a little chart that I got from a book called Am I Hungry? And basically there's the red zone. You don't want to go too far down. If you get down to level 1, level 2, you're ravenous, you're starving, you're lightheaded, you're low blood sugar, you don't make good choices. So you don't even want to get there. You want to eat when you get to about 3 or 4. When you start having when you feel hungry or the early signs, first signs of hunger pangs, that's your sign to start paying attention. It's like the light on your dashboard. Like that injury was a light on the dashboard saying, you're working out too hard, cut back, cut back. So don't ignore the signals. Pay attention. Let the signals guide your structure. Opposite is true. Don't go too far. Don't overeat. I noticed that the bigger portions, I got to be careful. I'm still sometimes cooking like Whitney's around. And I don't need to cook as much as I used to. So when you get to level 5, you're satisfied, you're not hungry, not full, you can't really feel your stomach. When you're slightly full at level 6, you begin to feel the food in your stomach, that's when you stop. And the reason is because it takes about 15 minutes for that signal to get from your stomach to your brain. If you keep eating to 7 or 8, you get uncomfortable, you get distended, and you don't feel good. So just a couple little tips about mindfulness. And tracking. Tracking is curative. Just being aware and looking at what you're doing. So getting on the app every day and am I getting those waters in? Am I getting those feelings in? Am I getting my exercise? Am I doing something I love for myself? And I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you, as you notice that you take care of yourself and you put self-care in there, are you noticing that you're more present for others? You're more engaged, you're more active, you're following through with other things. It's like a snowball. I love this little quote here. Every positive change leads to more. It leads to more. And so I want you to think about that as you're making these progress, realize that the tension in that rubber band is getting closer and closer, but you can start adding on benefits. So the next lesson we're going to talk about is what can you do to enhance your success. And just to close out the call with the weekly engagement prizes, the prizes will be tabulated tonight, midnight, Sunday night, each week, and the winners will be announced Monday morning. There's 2 prizes. There's the criteria for the healthy action prize. That's if you are taking consistent daily action and you're on a streak, that means you're doing it every day in a row. You don't miss a day. We're going to see who has the most healthy body actions and they're on the longest streak. That's going to be the winner. And that's going to be the weekly prize. The other one is the cheerleader prize. And that's the one who likes, or really the heart sign, who loves and likes the most posts from other people and comments on those posts. So it's really high-fiving and attaboying other people on the team. So hope you're having a great week. Hope you're building momentum, and looking forward to talking to you and moving into next week. Post what you like best about it, and post if there's any adjustments that you need to make for your program that you've learned from going through week 1.